Hey, welcome back to the channel. I picked this background for a reason, because from the outside, this is exactly how it feels, and I'm sure you can relate. We're on our side of the fence, watching the neighbor fight nonstop. Republicans versus Democrats, Trump supporters versus basically everyone else. And honestly, sometimes you just look over and think, what a shit show. Today, I've got a few clips that show just how chaotic things are getting in the US. And before we start, if you're new here and find this content helpful, a like and subscribe really helps out. Also, thank you for helping us reach 2,000 subscribers. It's not a big number. It means a lot to us. Big thanks to the 2,000 that pressed the subscribe button. Let's get into it.
I'm talking to a guy at work and he says, you'll never believe what just happened. I just went to Torchy's for lunch. Torchy's is a taco chain down in Texas. And he says, I went to Torchy's and I tried to order my usual order and they said, sorry, my guy, that's no longer on the menu. And he said, well, why can't I order that taco? Why isn't it on the menu? And they said, it's because one of the ingredients in the taco is now way too expensive to import due to the tariff situation in the US. We just can't keep it on the menu due to the price. So therefore it has to come down. So sorry, what else can we get you? And normally this kind of thing would, send me into a rage spiral. It would send me into a rant on this app about the tariffs and how terrible they are. However, all I can really do in this case is laugh because the taco in question from their menu is literally called the Republican. You can never tell me the universe does not have a sense of humor.
Breaking news, the United States' closest ally has just declared economic war and is holding a $1.13 trillion nuclear option. Japan's finance minister just went on live national TV and announced that their $1.13 trillion in US Treasury bonds is now a weapon. This is real leverage that could destroy the US bond market and collapse the economy. If Japan sells even a fraction of that debt, interest rates will skyrocket. Home loans, car payments, and even credit cards will immediately get more expensive. Inflation will skyrocket, the economy will crash, and the dollar will get weaker. And if China joins in, it's game over. Together, China and Japan hold over $2 trillion of US debt. A coordinated dump could collapse confidence in the US bond market, which is the backbone of global finance. This would force the US government to pay way more to borrow money just to stay afloat. Medicare, Social Security, and federal salaries will all be at risk. Your tax dollars will just go to damage control. This was a surgical, calculated warning. Trump's trade war has officially triggered an economic counterattack. The message is clear. Keep pushing Japan and they'll light the fuse. And if China follows, America will burn from the inside out.
I'm at the US-Canadian border. I just drove from Montreal to Vermont to spend less than 24 hours. Went to Trader Joe's, spent $120. You're not going to believe it. They taxed me 40%. That's a 25% tariff plus 15% federal and provincial tax just to go to Trader Joe's in Burlington, Vermont. Can you believe that?
Okay, let me pause it here. First of all, why are you still crossing into the States? It's already a known fact that even a Trader Joe grocery run, you're going to be taxed like crazy at the border. Sorry, but this guy should have known better. But I guess thanks for taking one for the team.
Am I the only one that these tariffs are really starting to scare? Because most people don't really understand what tariffs are and how they're going to impact them. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who voted for a specific person, and he didn't understand tariffs at all. And he kept saying, oh, well, they won't affect me because I'm just going to buy American-made products. What he didn't understand, which a lot of people don't, is barely anything is made in America entirely. Homes, for example, a lot of the lumber for homes is imported from Canada. It's not American lumber. Nails, glue, things like that are not produced here. They are imported here and built here. The same with most American products. We produce little to nothing. We are a consumer nation. So even if it says made in America or an American made product, very rarely will you see everything made in America. That just doesn't really happen. And a lot of people don't know that. Scary.
Have you seen any real life hits from the tariffs yet? Because we just saw our first for this building this morning. And damn, they are steep. They're steep. Like it hurts. If you're new around here, hey, Jen Plants and Dogs. I'm Jen, I grow plants in our hydroponic garden, and I travel and train dogs. Today, I was placing an order for our hydroponic garden. So a lot of things in our garden have to be imported in. So like our hydroponic mats, different substrates that we utilize, there's a lot of materials that you just can't get here in the United States, so things are shipped in. This item that I went to order this morning, I've been ordering since late 2017. I pay anywhere from $89.95 to like the highest when I looked back was $109 that I have spent for this item. This morning, I went to order it. It was $384 and some change, which means it is currently $274 more than the most expensive I have ever purchased it for. An item that we buy in here every 3 months.
Today marks the end of the de minimis tariff exemption by the Trump administration. Basically, for the last century, low-value goods have been able to be imported into the U.S. with no tariffs whatsoever. I have seen in the news that this will impact you as a consumer if you're buying from Shein or Temu, but it is actually so much more than that. If anything has China as the country of origin, it is going to get tariffed at a minimum of 145%. If you live in America starting today, you're going to start to see these duties added into your carts at your favorite stores. We're a small business. We're totally impacted by this. We are currently in the process of setting this up on our site. We're a team of two. Definitely is a lot of work, but Triangle has laid it out really nicely. Now that the Trump administration has gotten rid of the de minimis exemption, you're paying $175 in fees. This does not go to Triangle. It does not go to the business. This is going directly to customs. The media is definitely focusing on how this impacts fast fashion brands and just kind of like pushing to the side how this is impacting literally every small and medium-sized business. Honestly, every single business that I love to support, that I follow, is significantly impacted by these tariffs, but also the American consumer. Like, unfortunately, you are the ones that are having to pay these astronomical fees. We're a Toronto-based small business, but 90% of our customers are in the US. We love our US customers. We love all of our customers, but US has definitely been our focus ever since our launch 2 years ago. Rest assured, we are watching the news every single hour. We are thinking of every possible scenario, solution, to overcome these tariffs and just really minimize the impacts to our customers. I ask is please be patient. We're moving as fast as we can. Really appreciate the support from all of our American followers, customers. Hopefully there's some good news coming next week. I mean, these things change literally by the hour, so stay tuned.